Good evening.
Good evening.
And nice to have you on tin, Indrani.
Thank you.
Kathak dancer, when did that happen? Recently or sometime back? And do you actively practice it?
In a different way.
Okay.
It started when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
So it was that back. And I was an orthodox Kathak dancer. So that was a different life. But now my movements of Kathak are completely different to the tune of Mumbai.
Okay.
So I am not an active Kathak dancer any longer. I did leave that quite some time back. But what you get trained for in your formative years stays with you forever. So there's lots that still comes through what I learnt in Kathak.
So do you make all the officials dance to your tune over there?
Somewhat, but not really,
Not
because
really.
you know Kathak is a courtesan's dance. So I think
Okay.
I'll steer away from that.
Okay. So
Yes.
you are a private pilot. When did that happen?
Yes, I am a private pilot, but at this point of time, my license is not current since I don't fly anymore. It happened whilst I was working in Delhi as the conventions manager, and I was handling the World Safety Women's Congress, World Safety Pilots, the Congress, which was organized by the Indian Women's Pilots Association and the 99ers. In the world, there is a charter called 99ers, which is the first 99 lady pilots who formed the charter. And one fine evening, it was about 3 days conference, World Congress. So they were asking about, we are forming a book and we want to know about the life of the first, who could have been the first lady pilot, Asha Chatterjee. Unfortunately, we know nothing about it. So I said, what would you like to know about her? And they said, well, do you know anything? I said, well, I never met her, neither did my mum, but she is my mum's eldest sister. She passed away when my mum was not born. So that's how, then he says, you are Asha Chatterjee's niece and you have never thought of flying. So I said, there, I will fly. I thought to myself. However, being a private pilot and getting on to an aircraft which is only 2 people, a completely different experience than when you're on a commercial airline. So very prudently, the Delhi Flying Club took me up on a Cessna, and the flight route was my hotel too.
Okay.
I fell in love then and there, much before I met Ashok. So I became a private pilot, but then when I had to continue, I must say, straight from Mercedes to the Indian tractor, because I could not afford the Cessna at that time. So I started in the Pushpak. That's how I became a private pilot. And I continued with my hobby till I came to Mumbai, which put a jinx in it, because Juhu Aerodrome, very far, and all of that. I can still continue if I wish to, but I'm not sure that I'll take to the skies so quickly now.
Okay. Fantastic. How's the feeling when you are selected as L'Oreal Woman of Worth?
Oh, frankly speaking, I was a bit surprised, because at that point I didn't really know what this was all about. Then there's this young girl who came to meet me, and I understood that she had done the Humans of New York. I think many of you know. It is from that angle that she met me, and we were talking about it. What she wanted to know was the message I would like to give to women. And what she told me was that when they're looking for women of worth, they were not looking at the typical you know, the face of L'Oreal, which is usually with glamour.
Yes.
They wanted more normal people. So I was delighted. I said, anytime. I love to talk, so no problem. And there was a message in which I said to all, I'm so delighted that quite a few ladies are sitting, and up front that too, that we don't show enough and we don't have that much confidence, why not, and that it is necessary for the achievements, etc. So it was a good thing.
Fantastic.
So that was interesting to put it.
So unconventional social worker, that's an unusual name. Why do you say that?
Perception is everything, particularly as a networker. I'm sure you will agree with me. So the perception of a social worker is giving a helping hand to the poor and needy. I'm anything but that. So therefore I am unconventional in that sense. Social worker I am, because I'm working for society. So that is the difference, because I do believe that when you uplift society, it is not by giving a helping hand as in freebies or in looking after the poor. What requires that attention is the group in the middle. And that has been my focus and the focus of the government side. So therefore that's the unconventional bit. Hence I call myself the unconventional social worker.
School bus policy. How difficult was it to convince both the sides, the transport guys and the government? Of course the parents, I think, are for it over there. So how difficult was that exercise?
Sam, you've got it all wrong. Why? Parents were not for it.
Oh.
Straight away. When I did this whole school bus, since I am the face of school bus, it has so become, so I'll take a few minutes if you don't mind.
Sure, sure.
When I did it in 2002, and it was in my son's school, at that time it was Cathedral and John Connon School, Premier School. Having come from a corporate background, and as I said, not a conventional social worker, so I knew that if you had to make a change, and if you had to do something, Mumbai is a city where other things talk. So you had to catch a school where it would catch the attention of the public. It's another matter that the school had enough problems where transport was concerned. So all of this combined to make me do this. And the parents, of course, were taken completely unawares when we started doing this, because it happened very quickly. So parents did not really have a major role at that point. So I must make that clear. But when you talk about the authorities, they were my partners. So if a partner, and you know when you're a partner, you accept what's and all, it's like a marriage, so you make it work. And they came very willingly and wanting to change. You know, the common way of thinking is that all in the government are either useless, or they don't know what they're doing, or they are crooks. Far from it. I work within the system, and it's not true at all. I don't say that such elements don't exist, that is not so. But there are lots of good things in the system, in the administration. So when this project, which I took up, was with the traffic department, and I cannot tell you what satisfaction it was when the traffic police, and that's the constable on the street, was so proud to say that this is our project. So that sort of feeling of your own was very rewarding, and I had no difficulty. The RTO, that's the transport guys, because the transport, as you may know, two parts, traffic police, transport. Those Charlies, of course, did not quite know what was happening. They were sort of kept in the dark, not required at that point. But you will be happy to know that the policy came about at the invitation of the government, not because I went to them. I was invited by the then transport principal secretary, saying that, look, 90% of my colleagues' children, and indeed mine, have gone through your bus system. So have the judges' children, by the way. So we would like to know that how is it, when such a solution is there, that we have not used it for our city. So I said, it's up to you. Says, would you do it? I said, if you invite me, I will give it to you. Now, I've often been asked that how is it I did not turn it into an entrepreneurship? And the answer is very simple. I did not do this for money. Though money plays an important role, but it was meant, and my driving force was the safety aspect, the safety and security of our children. And that is something we take for granted, which we should not. So that is how this whole project had come about. And when the government asked me, when Mr. Ramanath Jha, who since then had left the service, invited me and asked me that you tell me how you would want to proceed with it and would you give it. I don't think ever any government policy has come about within 1.5 years. The school bus policy was notified within 1.5 years.
Okay.
Now, in the policies, the policy was made by this committee, of which I am a member. I was a member then, I still am. I'm the only non-bureaucrat who is a member there. And all the heads of all departments are members.
Okay.
And that was one condition I had.
Okay.
So somewhere you would say I call the shots.
Okay.
It was not the other way around. I said, you want mine? Then I want this, this, this. I will give it to you. Says, you will give it? I said, yes. Lock, stock and barrel, I'll give it. But you can't change a comma, full stop anywhere. And that's how the policy was put in. But then the government being the government and our elected representatives being their compulsions, went and shot themselves in the foot and has made a couple of glaring errors, I will not say, knowingly they have done it, which requires change and which requires to be addressed, which it shall be now. So that's how the policy came about. There have been certain hiccups with the policy, as in certain departments haven't, the education department haven't given it to the schools, etc., etc. But I have to take this opportunity and this platform, since there are many, I presume many parents are here, that parents have been rather conspicuous by being silent.
Okay.
And whether it is complacency or whether their belief in the government or what, I do not know. I am a parent myself. But somehow there hasn't been that strong demand of this policy being implemented uniformly in all schools. Because the life and the safety of a child is no different from one school to another. So this aspect, unfortunately, I don't see the parents coming up with. In fact, I have parents opposing it. Yes, which surprised me, because on the contrary, you would want to know that how your child can be safe and that the school has taken the responsibility. So parents actually must play a much stronger role, and that is a little wobbly.
Okay.
That's but the government side, gung-ho, nobody is going to mess around with the policy. This much I can tell you.
Okay.
Because the transport guys, as we were saying, the committee is headed by the transport commissioner.
Okay.
So willy-nilly his whole team is
okay.
in line, and I think somewhere along, when the officers see that there is a system which is there, which is implementable and successful, they all want to be part of a success story. Why would anybody want to fail? Half the time the government people get demotivated because they are not able to do many things that they would otherwise want to do. And that is actually the truth. So I did not have that sort of any difficulty. As I said, there have been certain challenges which I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
So we'll get that sorted out.
So a lot of the things, the policies of school buses, but I still see, a lot of these municipal schools, they have these private rickshaws, kids, like 7-8 kids into that auto rickshaw, bags are out and all that stuff and all. Is that also, is that not being regulated?
That's what I said, the government shot you. I'm glad you brought it up, so let me share with you. Municipal schools actually are well looked after in a way, because the BEST bus, I don't know how many of you know that BEST also gives school bus service.
Yes, yes.
So in many schools which may not be able to afford the rates of a private contractor through the school, the BEST offers the same facility for a fraction of the cost. Now, and usually municipal schools, our children are within walking distance of their school.
Yes.
So usually they walk. Now when you talk about autos, when we were doing this policy, the policy is for Maharashtra, not for Mumbai alone. So therefore, we had to look into the rural setup, or in small towns where you might require smaller vehicles instead of the regular school buses, etc. So I had seen certain vehicles, and the vehicles had to be sturdy. So therefore, we said that the minimum capacity for seating should be up minimum 12.
Okay.
If a vehicle which can accommodate 12 children that is economically feasible for the operator to run the service, and also small enough for it to maneuver in certain congested areas, etc. Imagine my surprise when the draft rules were put out and the policy notified, the minimum became up to.
Oh shit.
Okay? Now that was not an oversight. I am fairly convinced about that, because certain political side, I'm being completely blunt about it, has certain vehicles which they would like to use as school bus.
Absolutely.
Which is not safe from the purpose of all the safety regulations that ought to be put in place in such a vehicle. Now, when, of course, I objected, and the objection still remains and it's being looked into, etc., some bright spark must have decided that autos should also become school buses. So, officially, in the first amendment of the school bus policy, autos have been brought in. So, I've had a barrage of school principals asking me, what do we do now of these vans, etc. I said, very simple. As per the policy, the school principal, being authorized by their student body through their parents in writing to hire the school bus service, you hire the buses that you want. You don't have to hire any vehicle which you feel is not appropriate. Correct. As simple as that.
Correct.
So if the schools follow that and the parents make the schools do it, which is easily done, then you have no problem. But of course, that does not take away from the fact that these need to be rectified, which I'm fairly certain. I'm a kind of a persistent kind of a person. So I will get around to making that happen.
So one more point you can make also is on this Maruti Omni. It's one of the most unsafe vehicles.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
You know, like
Without
there's
a
nothing
doubt.
protecting the driver. The students, they got that. You know, so many times they have gone up in flames. It happened in Jogeshwari also.
Yes, I'm aware. Not only are the Maruti vans, I must also tell you that there was a panel discussion by the DNA newspaper they had, and Mahindras had, they have brought out a smaller vehicle, and I just happened to have been invited for the panel. Much to the dismay of the Mahindras, I can tell you. I don't know if anyone is here, but from Mahindras, because they came to explain to me how good these vehicles are. And I told them, I said, you have got small wheels, it's unstable, finished. They didn't like it at all. They went, I dare say they must have gone and complained, but the fact of the matter is that none of these vans are safe because they are not stable.
Correct.
They will not be able to take the weight, and they cannot possibly have all the safety measures that are part of the policy be implemented there. But as I told you, that in the first amendment there have been certain glaring issues which have come in, which cannot be left to itself, so that needs to be rectified. So yes, it is true that these vehicles are not right for being considered as a school bus vehicle.
Correct.
They have to be sturdy. They're not.
Okay, so that was a very, very interesting thing over there. What about these transporters? You know, there are a lot of this lobby. Like I know this, there's a lobby of the school buses which they provide to a lot of them. A lot of their school buses are not in order. You know, like they don't have the emergency escapes working, and they, some of them don't start in the morning. Like opposite my house, there is this. I don't want to name the school bus vendor. He's got that. It'll take about 10 minutes to start and make such a big noise, and black smoke and all will come out of it. I don't think they follow any pollution guidelines. Nothing over there. I don't know still how they are allowed to operate over
They
there.
are not.
Okay.
Sam, after this is over and we are off the mic,
Okay.
please give me the name.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
one.
he
And
dis-
I'm serious, I'm not joking. Okay, let me tell you about the school bus operators. When I started in 2002, at that point, the model, I had put out a tender for school bus owners to come forward, and 38 operators had come to bid for it. Amongst the 38 was also the operator, the present operator at that time of the school, of the cathedral school, and I was challenged by him that this could never happen.
Okay.
So I told him to leave if he didn't believe in it. We shortlisted 10, and then finally 5 were taken. Now these 5 operators, let me tell you, like civil society, let's be very frank, safety is not in our psyche. We don't believe in saving our own lives, leave alone others. That is the unfortunate state of affairs. And if that is so, then the same is with the transporters. But when they came, the 5, they became my chela.
Okay.
Okay, because they needed the money, and I said, you will only get it if you follow what I tell you to do. But that's not true. I mean, that's not strictly only one side. But I had been very fortunate because one of the operators is a visionary.
Okay.
So he stood by and we started to work on various angles, and the entire contract, etc., was put in. That's lock, stock and barrel. That whole thing is part of the school bus policy, including the contract. Now, when the contractors, as you say, there are many errant contractors, and the School Bus Owners Association, which you must be reading, one gentleman called Anil Garg.
Yes.
Nobody cannot know his name. So at one point, my name was poison to him. But all that changed when I was asked to be the Mumbai hero. And I think there was some voting also done. I was very touched that the same Anil Garg and the whole School Bus Owners Association sent me an SMS, and they sent a diktat to all of them to vote for me, because according to them, they said that I had given them the dignity of being a school bus owner. Okay? Now, when you give dignity of labor to anyone, it changes the person, because there's a certain amount of pride, a dignity which they feel that they should improve. Now, I do believe I can get things done in a way that may not always be visible. So what I did was, when I knew the School Bus Owners Association was, you know, against the school bus policy, etc. When I did Avabai Petit, there is a parent here. When I was doing the Avabai Petit school, and their old operator dumped them right royally on the first day. So I threw him out, and I got one of the office bearers buses deployed into the Avabai Petit school. Okay? That changed the whole scenario. Because he went back to say, "Arey, hum kya kar rahe hain? We are fighting against madam. When we do her policy, then there are no private vans. So our business goes up. So why should we be against the policy?" So therefore, the School Bus Owners Association and those who are affiliated to this association, their buses are unlikely to be caught off guard.
Okay.
But being, as I said, the society people who do not believe in safety, you will find where the emergency doors are, there is a row of seats. Now, that begs the question that why are the schools allowing it? All the schools have to do is to take a photo, send it to the RTO, and they will not get their permit, period. I must also share with you that for the first time in this school bus policy, any operator who is doing only school buses, they get a tax rebate. Where they were paying 650 rupees, they now pay 100 rupees.
Oh.
So the government can do and does do what they are required to do, because one of the terms of reference for our committee was to address the tax issue. Because I said, if you are making a policy, we want more bus operators to come, make it easy for them to do their business, don't make it difficult. Like our Prime Minister is saying, now I think for the labour law today, that instead of 16, you make one form. Same way the school bus thing was done. But please give me, and if any one of you do see the buses which are not, according to you, are all responsible people here, where you feel that things are not right, do not hesitate to take down the number and let me know. We will talk subsequently, because it should be addressed, not because of me, not because of the policy, but because it affects our children. That's the reason why we should do it, and not just let it be.
So Sandeep is smiling at me because he's thinking, let's create one more Facebook page for this, so people can upload all the...
No, but you must do it. You really must.
Number plates. Can put it. That's also traffic violation over there, no?
It is. Not only traffic, this is an RTO violation.
Correct.
And it is mandated that you cannot have it. I mean, I'm absolutely surprised that, I mean, not surprised, because there are that many. The other thing is, parents, I must tell you, since you are all here and are all active citizens, when you see a school bus in motion, as per the policy, you cannot have the doors open. It's unsafe. It's not allowed. By all means, stop the buses, take down the number, please give it. They will be penalized heavily. Because be clear that when the bus doors are open, in motion, if a child is standing there, very often they will stand because they want to get down at the next stop, or they are made to stand, or if they're sitting very near the entrance, one break and they'll be out of the door. So these are simple things. Please be alert. So if society is alert, change will happen. If we are not and complacent, the government will not be able to, administration will not be able to.
One more small take on this is these attendants who are there in the buses, you know,
Yes.
they have the male attendant and female attendant. Are they vetted? Like, you know, you have the security guard vetting, you know, what kind of a person he is, where is he staying? Are they having some, you know, kind of a vetting
Yes.
by the police and all that stuff?
Yes.
You know?
As part of the policy, I suggest all of you, please get on to, which you are going to ask me next, onto our portal. I'm sure you were going
Yes,
to, but
yes.
see the policy, read the policy.
Okay.
I would like you to do that. It's uploaded so you can see it. And in this, it is very clearly mentioned that every operator, the contract that is signed between the operator and the school on behalf of the students, it's mentioned that they have to give their entire history of their staff to the school. The school, under a covering letter, will send that entire bundle to the local police station.
Okay.
Now that's the duty of the school. Thereafter, if any incident happens, then the onus, because no school, neither can we verify antecedents of any other individual other than the law enforcing agency, which is the local police station. They are supposed to do this, and they do it. Problem is, schools are not doing what they are supposed to do. So once the system is in place, the system is there, it has to be practiced. So that is how not only the attendants, the drivers and every single employee, because the bus attendants, bus drivers, all of them, they have to carry an ID card. And the ID card is given by the owners because they are the principal employers. Now, if a school has their own bus, the same will apply to the school administration.
Okay.
So that's how the vetting is done.
Fantastic. I think that is a long, nice debate on school buses, and especially people like Sanjeev, you have a young daughter and all, you have to be very careful with all this kind of stuff over there. My kids are also, one guy is still in school, so fine. Okay, so you think there's a better facilities like GPS and this kind of technology can be put in where the parent can know where the bus is, what's happening over there? You think there's something like this will make sense?
Well, to tell you the truth, yes, certainly technology is always welcome, and I had already put in place the whole GPS tracking in 2004 in the same cathedral buses. Technology has advanced. This is 10 years back that I'm speaking about, and that was real time. In fact, the same company which has done my, they had done it because they are very competent in this particular field. Unfortunately, what happened was, what I noticed was, that at the time they were putting a very small antenna and the hardware was being vandalized.
Oh.
So if the hardware gets vandalized, no way will you get the correct reading, etc. Now then I went a little deeper to find out how is it getting vandalized, and I not discovered but I was informed that since the buses are parked willy-nilly everywhere because there is no dedicated bus parking area for the school buses, that it was very difficult to keep track of these things. Therefore, when we had our school bus committee being formed, in the terms of reference or in our work, we put in dedicated bus parking area.
Okay.
Now, till that becomes a reality, this will always be a little bit of a wavy area.
Correct.
Because one will never be sure whether the hardware that, because no technology can be done without a hardware. So therefore, that aspect has to be looked into. But I must also tell you that no doubt the parents would want to know various things. But I am not at all in favor of too much interference from the parents. Because what I have seen in my experience, with due respect to all parents and myself included, parents have a tendency to be very, very selfish. And they do not, I don't say that every parent is so, but by and large, that only my child is to be seen and not the other. So when you want to have a system in place which is uniform and for all, you can't have so much of parental interference. Because I have seen in every single of the schools where parents have tried to bully the operators and the attendants, till I put in the huge penalty. If you make an unscheduled stop, you pay 1,000 rupees straight away.
Okay.
So that is why, no doubt, as I said, parents might want to know and certainly should know, but a better idea would be through the school. Then the school also becomes a lot more responsible and becomes more involved. So that I would recommend that. But there's nothing to stop anyone from, you know, putting their own tracking, etc.
We have launched a new GPS by, I think next year that GPS for India will be available to military as well as people over there. So you don't have to depend upon the US for GPS anymore.
Right. Yes, then by that time, hopefully all the other things will get sorted out.
Over there. Okay, now coming to the main question, Together We Can. What is it about? How did it come across? Can you please shed some light on that?
Yes. Our trust is We Citizens Action Network, the network being the operative word, and citizens too. Now, in all the years that I have been associated with various kinds of work, starting from garbage to better systems in every aspect of the municipality, fire audits, security audits, mosquito breeding site audits, just name it, we've been associated with this, and pilots have been made, etc. But what I found is, and having attended many seminars, conducted many, organized many, but we reach few number of people. How to reach out to more? Need I say that in today's platform, this evening's platform, I shouldn't be talking about technology and how technology is so important and the world of net. Today it is the world of net, and I felt that there was a need for sharing information and getting people to do things for themselves. As I said, I don't believe in giving a hand to the needy. I just don't believe in it. I do believe that people must take the initiative to get involved and do it themselves. The moment you do anything yourself, A, you feel a sense of achievement, and B, you feel empowered. And then automatically you will share that with others. With this in mind, we started to look at it. The other thing that prompted us to think of this portal was that there's a legal aspect. That in every single aspect of our lives or any of the rules that are there, there's a legal aspect to it. And since I sit in the Lok Adalat bench of the State Consumer Redressal Commission, many cases come to us for mediation where I find if only they knew. A very small thing or a simple thing. Now, we don't expect, none of us expect that, nor do I know, that everything of the law should you know. But there are certain basic things that we all need to be aware of, and also how certain judgments which come about and how it may affect any one of us. Now that is something which we need to be aware of. So initially we thought it should be a legal portal, and then I said nothing doing. Let's make a khichdi of it. You put the right ingredients in it, as I was sharing earlier, then it becomes a very tasty dish. So therefore it came about that we put in all our work and with an interactive map of Mumbai, so that there is an interaction between the citizens and ourselves, so that we can give and share, and people can share amongst themselves. So exactly like what you are doing here is what is there in the portal. In many ways, when people share with each other and somebody has achieved something, you feel that, hey, if they can do it, he can do it, so can I. So why would I not want to do it? So our motto is very clear. We won't do it for you. We will help you to do it for yourselves. So in this manner, we brought out the portal. The interactive map, for example, what I found in my work is that so many people did not know which ward they are in, the municipal ward. Now, your municipality, my municipality, our municipality, from the time you are born till the time you die, you are tied to it. And yet, you don't know where your municipal office is. You don't know what services are provided. You don't know the systems that work. How can ignorance in any way be an asset? It can't be. So therefore, what we did was just put the boundary of the ward and the ward office number. It's just the first steps. So you see, if you are to go and do a lot more things, you first have to do the baby steps. If you don't walk as a baby, you are not going to be able to run.
Correct.
So therefore, this is the first step. We also felt that we would not like to duplicate work of others. So what we have done is that we have linked it with various organizations who are also our networking partners and shared, so that if you need more of something, you go directly to them. For example, Think Foundation is one of our knowledge partners. Now, the young man, Vinay Shetty, very committed worker, deals with blood. His name is synonymous with safe blood. Now, when we look at, why would we need to know? Tell me, any one of us would not think of where to source blood if there is a problem. Okay? So, how to do that? Now, I would not be working in that same field, but my job is to bring that to easy reach of others. So, what we look at is in the role of a facilitator organization and as a coordinator. In nearly all aspects of work, what lacks is coordination, invariably. So, that is the void we wanted to fill in. And we named it Together We Can. Not we, but we can. Yeah. So, that's how the portal came in. In fact, today in Times of India for the elections, we have just completed. We are the authorized facilitator organization, and Times of India has put out, so if any one of you have ever had any problems with elections, just write. We will guide you to resolve your problems. So, but we won't do it for you. We'll tell you how you go and resolve it yourselves. Yes.
Fantastic. What are the 3 top things the new government, whoever comes, I hope Achhe Din Aayega, should do to, Ian is not there, so I said that, should do to revive Mumbai? I'm sure Mumbai has to be revived.
Well, this is a oft heard word, revive Mumbai, the spirit of Mumbai, all of that. Basic things have to come in from the government is infrastructure, which is talked about. And I think one of the other things that need to come in is uniform implementation of policies. So what happens is, if I have the time to give a small example, that very often the roads, which is a huge road rage, whether you look at traffic, potholes, whatever, we talk about roads. And invariably we blame the BMC. But are all roads under BMC? No, MMRDA. So when you have basic structures with multiple agencies looking after, and lack of coordination results in, you know, how should I say, the implementation gets complicated and the efficiency gets challenged. So this needs to be addressed. So therefore, whether it is the transport department, for example, or development, urban development, because very often in my work I have seen that the urban development department does something which is contrary to BMC rules and regulations. So then you have a problem. So this seamless coordination or bringing about multiple agencies under one would be one of the things that the new government must certainly do. The other would be to have policies for beaches, because Mumbai is a coastal land and unfortunately the coastal side is not looked after. As Chowpatty we have done, but that's very small fraction, but that needs to be looked into. You asked me 3, so that's 2, and the third is water transportation.
Yes.
That, I mean, we don't use our natural resources. How good, I mean, why would that be? So that is something which I'm fairly certain the new government will look into.
Fantastic. You run the HAM network for Mumbai. Is it still active, and how does it become a member? How do you become a member? So you can tell people what is ham. It's not pork, it's not non-veg stuff, so she'll tell you what is ham.
Hey, ham is, but not this ham. Okay, no, first of all, I don't run the network. I must, you know, make that correction. It happened, you know, the July floods of 2005. When that happened, except for Cathedral School, I think nearly all schools had a problem.
Yes.
Cathedral, because I'm part of the disaster management cell, so I knew what was coming, so I had dispatched the buses very quickly. But what I found is, then you will all know that communication failed.
Yes.
Now, how can, in a city like Mumbai, communication fail? You would have read also, Chandrababu Naidu has taken to task the mobile vendors. Now, there is a saying that if everything fails, ham will always be there. You are aware of what ham is, I presume. Okay, ham is a group of amateur radio operators. It's an international hobby. It's a hobby. But when you take up this hobby, you give a pledge that if ever there is an emergency, you will be the first on the scene. And they live by it. So it's a very committed hobby, but it's a very enjoyable one at that. So now, having been a private pilot myself, I was well aware of the hams and what they can do. So I sourced that who are the hams in Mumbai. So I found the oldest ham group, which is called the JNA Wireless Association. They are the group of hams. And I caught them, and as a matter of fact, they were part of the Latur as well as, I mean, they were part of all these emergencies. But when it came to Mumbai, our municipality was oblivious of their existence. Can't blame them. I dare say many didn't know about it. So what I did was, as I say, we play the role of facilitator and coordinator. So I took them, and the ham group got integrated into the MCGM's disaster management cell. Now, it was with a little bit of a vision that I proceeded on this, that there has to be two-pronged. One is also to empower the MCGM staff into becoming hams. So what happens is that in all the 24 wards, there is a disaster cell. Every ward has it, and it works, mind you. Please use it, the number, so for any emergency. Now there, if there are dedicated hams who are staff of BMC, the BMC becomes so much more competent to deal with certain issues. So with that in mind, we started training. But before I went to the BMC, we also felt that it was necessary for citizens, anyone who would want to take it up as a hobby, to become hams. So we set up 2 centers, one in Malabar Hill and one in Villepale, in Sathe College. And the 35 hams who passed out, they were given the certificate. When you need to become a ham, there is a course which you have to undergo, and then there are theoretical and practicals, and then you are vetted by the IB. You are not just given, because the license comes from Delhi, because you are given radio frequency. So therefore, it has to be a full checks and balance, and hams also come across, they intercept quite a few of communications which they are honor bound to share with the security agencies. So there's a lot of it there. Should you, any one of you, want to become hams, please let me know. I will put you in touch with, I can see a hand going up. Excellent. So I will put you in touch with Mr. Sudhir Shah, who handles the ham. And by the way, the relay station of the city happens to be on top of our building, which is Acropolis A. Yes, so because that's the best signal, and the society is very kind to, give their premises.
Very long antenna. No?
It's a very small antenna.
No?
All good things come small packages.
Great. The equipment is expensive?
The personal equipment you're talking about, the about 8,000-10,000. I think that's what it was. But I don't think I'm the most competent person to tell you that. I'd rather put you in touch with the organization that handles it.
Okay, so coming to the quick gun Sam witty answer.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Okay.
So, social media. You have to give me one word. Social media.
A word for what?
What do you think? Like social media. Your reaction.
Most essential. Okay. 2 words.
Networking.
Absolutely.
Religion.
Everyone's own.
Bollywood.
No idea.
Men.
Always needed.
Money.
Essential.
Okay. What's your favorite cuisine?
Fusion, my husband's.
My husband.
He's a chef, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yes. But Italian, to be more accurate.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Whom do you admire?
Very difficult question. Whom do I admire? If I should say, Swami Vivekananda.
Okay. Something about your family.
My partner, who is also partner in every sense, and also a trustee with me. My son, my long-suffering family. Because I get into crazy things, and they have to tug along with me. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I'm sure they won't. I believe in family very strongly and family values. So that's in a nutshell. I come from a small family. We have a small family. I have a brother, if you want to know, and my family is in Kolkata.
Okay.
So we are a very close-knit family, and yet we are not very showing, emotive in that sense.
Okay.
But we are very close.
Fantastic. What are you looking forward to do next?
Well, I get into a lot of messes. I come out, but I think it is the portal which I want to ensure that it really reaches the masses and people get involved. and ultimately it should go to other cities. It should not stay only in Mumbai. And the other thing which I'm looking forward to is in safety and in the school children's safety in transportation is something which I really want to pursue. And for that reason, I would like to share with you that there is a national alliance which has been formed, and we are founder members of that in Delhi, National Road Safety Alliance, NRSA. So that is something which we would like to pursue a lot, but the portal will play the vital role. And I think as much as the work that we will do on ground, we would transfer to the portal. And that's the road forward for me, for us, for the trust, and for me too.
Fantastic, Indrani. It's been a pleasure having you over here. And
My pleasure too. Thank
you.
you.
A big hand.
Thank you.
So first is your custom mug.
Hey, that's nice.
So you'll have
Thank you.
the flash bulbs
Yes.
going off. I didn't see a flash bulb going off.
Oh dear.
Okay?
Yes.
Good enough for Facebook? Okay.
Yes.
And this is a special gift for you from Sanjeev. And
The spa.
The spa.
Yes.
The portable spa.
Portable spa. Okay. Thank you.
Once again, he is not done yet.
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.